man in the NFL presents Mike Holmgren.
They never leave you. Right in your spot. See where it is? Bang, you get the ball.
Powered by El Gaucho, by Sharp Vision Modern LASIK, by Advanced Hair, and by Master Park Airport Valet Parking.
Okay, let's do it. One more time.
Now, Mike Holmgren on Seattle Sports Radio 950.
Coaching, teaching, that's always been very, very important to me.
KJR.
To imagine that Easter at the Holmgrens is a full-fledged deal. Am I right, Coach? Was that do you need a week to recover from yesterday?
Yeah, you know what? It is a full-fledged deal, but good to hear your guys' voices. You, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Coach. Yeah, good to hear you.
We had we go to church, and we had all our family here. So my daughter Cal and my granddaughter flew in from Salt Lake. So we had church, and then after church we took everyone to brunch at the Hilton there, in Bellevue, and that's quite a crew. You got 19 people, these tables and all the little rascals, but they get to pick whatever they want to eat. It's a show, but it's Dick, and you can appreciate it. It's great fun, and it's one of the things. I've told you before. I miss the players. I miss the coaches. There are certain things I miss about not coaching anymore. But one of the great things, I have some freedom now, a lot of freedom actually, to be with the kids and do some stuff like that. So it's fun.
So no Easter egg hunt at Grandpa Holmgren's house, huh?
No, we didn't have the Easter egg hunt. No,
right.
No, we did not. We did not do that. And but I'm a little. Well, they could do it, but they went to other places for that. They don't count on me for that. They just like me to pay the bills on the brunch.
That's very good. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we did have a great weekend, and hopefully kind of the mood has changed here in Seattle, Coach. I mean, we had such a weird week last week. I mean, the weather was terrible. The Mariners were losing. Richard Sherman was getting traded. Marshawn Lynch was going to the Raiders. It just wasn't a very fun week. So maybe this weekend kind of changed things a little bit. And let's go to these two big situations with a current Seahawk and a former Seahawk. And we'll start with Richard Sherman. And we were talking earlier today about, is this relationship irreparable right now? Where do you see the relationship, if you can kind of wrap your arms around it? Where is the relationship, in your opinion, right now between Richard Sherman and the Seahawk brass?
Well, it's hard to know for sure unless you're a real insider there. But, the conversations that have taken place, I kind of understand the conversations that have taken place, on one hand. On the other hand, he's a great player for them. They're in their Super Bowl window, if you will, and to lose a great player, shutdown corner that are very, very difficult to find, it doesn't make much sense on the surface. So the fact that it's been prolonged, to me, means there's things that have happened behind the scenes that only they know about, and has caused some angst, if you will, some problems. Richard, we know he's outspoken. We know they had some issues last year, but that by itself shouldn't cause all this stuff. A lot of it might be just smoke, and if they don't get what they want, and I'm imagining they want something really big if they're going to do this, then he'll be with them next year, and then you have to come to an understanding. You have to sit down and be reasonable and say, okay, last year it didn't work for us. In fact, it hurt the football team. It has to be different this year, and everyone has to agree to that.
Where would you be if you were the guy making the decision?
Yeah.
Adam Schefter of ESPN has reported that Sherman requested the trade. I don't know that to be true. I don't know that to be untrue. But if you're in this situation, what do you need? What's the outcome you need from Richard Sherman? Do you acquiesce and grant him his request if indeed that did happen, or just kind of what's your game plan with all of this?
No, I think Hugh. I think there were times when players would through their agent or whomever want to say, okay, I want to try something else. I want to leave. It's not working here. I don't like this guy, or whatever the reasons are for. As the decision maker in the organization, that that can never be the determining factor on your decision on whatever it is. Your first responsibility is to make sure the team is going in the right direction. It's the business part of football, and you know it very, very well, Hugh. The business part of football is that stuff happens, but my job is not to listen. The player wants to leave. Okay, we'll let you leave. No. We're going to talk this through. Why do you want? If you're serious about this, and it's not just a money deal. If it's I can't play for you anymore. Now that's a different thing. If it's a money deal, or someone's got their feelings hurt because of issues during the season, I always thought you could work through that, and I still believe that. And so I would try really hard to keep my best players. That's how I would look at it.
How concerned would you be, first of all, with Richard? He's, as you know, the second highest paid Seahawk behind Russell. He's due to make 14.3, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sherman had a comment last year where he just was kind of dismissive. He said, yeah, I'm sure Pete will have a kumbaya meeting. And what was your take on that? And is that possibly an indication to you that his mind might be in a place that could detract from the team, or do you just say, oh, that's just a comment that you just throw away? Where are you?
Well, you know what? And you know me pretty well. Those kind of comments now, I don't like those kind of comments, and I would, and you also know I like Richard Sherman, but that kind of stuff, that's just. There's too many comments like that in the league these days. Stuff like that gets out. It's a different time, but it gets out, and you don't want those things. If someone's unhappy, if a player's unhappy, then I get that. But then come into my office. My door's open. Come into my office. What's the problem? What is the problem? And I always thought I could fix most things. And if all of a sudden after some serious discussions and meetings, I felt, well, wait a second, this could be a detriment to success as a football team, then you might get serious about trying to do something. But from what I've heard and what I've read, it's just in the talking. There's a lot of talking going on and nothing really happening yet. So I would think I could fix it. I would try and fix it first, and then if all of a sudden I felt, this has gone way too far, and no one's meeting me halfway here, then all of a sudden you got to get serious about doing something.
And the talking really is coming from the national media, Coach. I mean, this isn't like we're hearing from Richard Sherman every other day, and we're hearing from the Seahawks every other day. You used the word prolonged a few moments ago to describe the situation. I agree with you. It has been prolonged, but it hasn't necessarily been exacerbated by anything real. It's been exacerbated by the national media. So should we expect either side to come to the microphone and say, hey, listen, we're burying the hatchet, there's nothing to see here, Richard Sherman's going to be a Seahawk? Or do you just expect nothing to happen from either one of these sides over the next the next 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, I don't think if that were to be the case, Dick, I don't think there's any explanation necessary by either side. And I think you're right. I think it's been prolonged because of who Richard Sherman, the personality is. And he's well known now. He's most people saw the flare-ups, on because they were important games and all this kind of stuff. The Seahawks have always played important games lately, and so people know about this. In the old days, you might not know about it, but now they know about it, so it's a story. But I really don't think anything's going to happen, and I don't expect, and I wouldn't go to the podium and say, okay, we had this meeting. Those are things that are kept in-house as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not that easy in this day and age, but I would try and do that.
Moving on to the former Seahawk that we thought was signing with the Oakland Raiders, and this is another